Welcome to Make Something with me, David Picciuto, and today I am going to learn how to design and prototype a chair. It's made with mostly dowels. You don't need many tools and you don't need a drill press for this. Check it. Today's video is brought to you by Rockler. Rockler reached out to me and they said they had this new portable drill guide that they want to show off and asked me if I could come up with a project to use this. This is great if you don't have a drill press and you want to drill straight repeatable holes. And so I thought, let's make a chair out of dowels. Most of the chair is dowels with two plywood side pieces. It's not an original idea, but I want to take that idea and expand on it. The earliest version I could find was this Harry Bertoia. This is from 1940s, so this is kind of the inspiration for it. I started sketching up a whole bunch of ideas. I thought, let's get crazy, let's do some crazy fun stuff. And then I realized when you're designing a chair, the first version is usually the prototype. It is not going to be the final version. So I decided to simplify it, and we're going to do, it's basically an H design connected with dowels. Knowing that this isn't going to be the final design, we first need to get functionality down, then we can work on form. So I drew this up in Illustrator. This is what we have. This is going to be our starting point. We're going to check for comfort. Sitting on a bunch of dowels, going to be comfortable at all. We're going to use 3/4 inch dowels. Maybe smaller dowels are going to be better, maybe bigger dowels are going to be better. We'll find out after we sit down on it. Then once we get the shape of it, this is more of like a dining chair, not like a lounge chair. But once we get the shape of the seat, then in future versions, we can work on getting crazy, having a little bit of fun with the design. So I'm doing a lot of talking, but that's the point of this video, is just to kind of walk you through my thought process on building this chair. So the very first thing I need to do is I printed this out. I drew this up in Illustrator and then I tiled it, and we're going to put it together and then slap it on some plywood and cut it out. Adobe Illustrator has this cool tile function when you go to print out something that's bigger than your normal sheets. So I've gone ahead and I've taped that all together. So we're gonna set that aside. I've got this 1.5 inch foam insulation that I'm throwing on my bench, and then we can throw our plywood on top of this and then take our jigsaw and cut this out and not worry about cutting into our bench. It's a great trick that I learned, use it all the time. I've got this flipped over. I'm just gonna spray some spray adhesive on there. There we go. So we're gonna take a jigsaw and we're gonna cut just outside the line, as close as we can without touching it, and then we'll come back and we'll sand down to that line. I've done this before, and I know that sometimes the paper can come up when you're cutting it with a jigsaw or a bandsaw. I don't want to lose the place where all of these dowels are going to go. So I'm just going to take an ice pick and mark them out now, just in case. Something that I want to say is, normally I try to set myself up for success. I make sure I have all the things ready to go, and 99.9% of the time, in my shop, the projects work out. This particular project, because it's a prototype and because there's a lot of unknowns, I don't know if it's going to be comfortable or functional or tip over, I'm setting myself up for failure mentally and physically. This might not work. This is just one of those things. You got to experiment and just go for it. So we got that guy all cut and sanded, and for this first piece, I wanted to make sure everything is really super smooth and right down to the line, because we're going to use this as a template for the next piece. So I'm going to sketch this out, then we'll rough cut it out, and then we'll use a pattern bit for the router to make this exact shape. Now, if I end up liking this design, I can actually take this piece off of the chair and use it as the template for the future chairs. So if I want to make a full dining set, this could be the template. I don't think it will be, but you never know. A lot can happen. So we got that rough cut out pretty close to the line. So we're going to use some double-sided tape to stick these two pieces together. A good piece on top. Make sure there's a little lip all the way around. I think we're good. We can press those together. So now we're going to put this bit in the router, and this bearing is going to ride along top of the good piece and make an exact. As you can see, that bit looks a little bit dull and burnt, which left me some burn marks on the edges there, which I had to sand away. So it is time for a new bit. But while these two pieces are stuck together, we are going to drill all of these holes using this Rockler portable drill guide. If we do both of them at once, when we pull them apart, we have two exact copies. I really should have opened this up and tested this out before Dan got here, but we're winging it, people. We're winging it. Smells new. Ooh. It's got some good action, Dan. Oh, Dan, go ahead and do that. Just do that. That's not your grandpa's ball bearings in there. Comes pretty much assembled. I just have to remove those two bolts and screw on these two guys. I think this is some sort of depth stop. This controls this. I can stop it up there. So if I put my drill in here, that's fun. I've got a 3/4 inch Forstner bit. This is going to be a lot of work, but I need to draw all of these holes. This is where the seat is going to go, and then these two down here are just support holes. So this just works like a regular drill truck. The bearings on there are so smooth and like there's zero play. That's I don't know why, but that is just so fun. So it looks like these holes are mounting holes. If you wanted to mount this to a bench or a jig, is I want to get that lined up, and then I need to clamp this whole assembly to my bench. And I think that's going to work. I need to put a sacrificial piece below here so this doesn't blow out, because it is plywood. It will chip out in the bottom and I don't drill into my bench. All right, so I'm clamping this all together. I got my sacrificial board underneath there. I'm gonna drill both pieces at the same time. We are at 90 degrees. Time to drill. I think I have to go pick up a new bit. This bit is dull. Got a new bit. I think it should work a lot better. Yeah. And probably most of you already know this, is don't put too much pressure on the drill and exit every couple seconds to get rid of some of that waste, because what's happening is that waste is getting trapped in there and it's not allowing the bit to do its work, and then it's making me push harder. I don't have to push hard, I just have to exit more, like this. And that should be it. I think we can split these two pieces of plywood apart now. Ah! That's a chair, y'all. So if you don't have a drill press, this is a great substitute. At the end of the video, I'm going to talk about some of the other cool things you can do, and you can get it with this self-centering drill vise. I have all of these dowels that I ordered from Rockler. Didn't need that one. So before the moment of truth, before I put them together, I think I should. We rounded over all the edges. Everything is sanded smooth. Now it's just time to see if we can put it all together. I'm not going to glue anything in just yet. I want to see if this works. If it works, then we can add glue. If it doesn't work, I can reuse the dowels for version 2. It's going to be tough. I do like it. I wonder if these should be higher up so there's not this much space there. This could be then veneered and covered completely up. So I can be real sloppy with the glue. Again, prototype, we're just kind of thinking. Actually, I don't know that I would change much. It's like a dining chair, so you're not lounging back and trying to be comfortable. I'm surprised. I thought there would be more versions of this. I'm not. Maybe this could go down a little lower right there, maybe. One of the things that I was thinking was like a pool noodle could go around these, and then you could put a cloth over top of that, and then you have a cushion. But it's not like sitting on a hard flat seat because there's a curve to it. Dan, you want to sit in it? I mean, be honest, what would you change about it?
This is hitting my back.
That's hitting your back? So that needs to go back a little bit?
Yeah, I think maybe if the break just happened like a couple dowels lower where it started to break back a little bit earlier.
Okay. I'm going to glue them in. I'm going to commit to this one. Leaving it sticking out just a little bit so I can sand everything flush. This little tray, I can close that up, save that for later. The lid has this little lip right there. Look at that. Isn't that cute? That's so cute. I can just let that dry on there and that should peel off later without a problem. And I need to think about next steps. Do I just call it done? Do I veneer the outside? I don't know. I haven't decided yet. A lot can happen. Chair is all done. There's some changes that we have to make to it. We're going to talk about that in a second. I'd like to thank Rockler for sponsoring today's video and for sending me this drill guide. This is great if you don't have a drill press. This could be an option for you. Or if you have really large pieces that are hard to take over to a drill press, or your drill press table is not big enough for the thing that you're working on, you can take this to your project. And it drills at different angles, which is really cool. And then as you can see in here, I have the optional self-centering vise that you can get with this. If you're a pen turner, this works great because it's got some notches in there. And if you have a square piece of wood, it's going to drill directly in the center. You don't even have to mark that out. How cool is that? It is well made. This is solid aluminum. It's got some heft to it. It's also got 2 pins here on the bottom. So if you have those pins sticking out, you can take it to the piece, you turn it until both of those pins are touching that piece, and it's going to drill directly in the center of that board. That's a really cool feature. The bearings on here, as soon as you unbox that, this is the first thing you're gonna do. It's so fun to play with. And then the tolerances on there are fantastic. That's just some really, really good action. So another one of the Rockler products that we used was this little glue caddy. You can dump your glue in there and it has this nice little airtight lid, and it was great for the brushes to brush on here. I've got a couple more videos coming out with Rockler here very soon, and one of the reasons I really like working with them is you can go to their site and you can buy all the big brand name tools, but they also have this huge line of accessories and jigs that they're inventing and making themselves, which is really, really cool. So thank you, Rockler. The dowels were sticking out a little bit, and I took a chisel and I chiseled away the excess and then sanded that flush, put a coat of finish on there. A couple of things that I needed to change about this, and my next video is going to be version 2, and I got some really cool ideas, is I want the dowels to be higher up and closer to this line. So if you're a person with a certain build that this doesn't dig into your side, and on that particular version, I'm not going to have the holes go all the way through. They're going to be stopped, and I'm going to use something different than dowels, and I'm going to use something different than plywood. I've already got this all planned out. I've already got the materials. It's going to be the next video. One of the other things that I'm going to change is the overall shape of it. This looks a little bit too computery, a little bit too CAD drawing. I want to make something that's a little bit more inviting and a little bit more Picciuto-like. And so I've already got that drawn up, and it's basically the same shape, but just a little bit more, has a little bit more design in there and less of a computer feel. Links to the Rockler products and all the tools that I use will be down in the description. We'll see you next week with version 2 of this chair, and we're going to use some cool tools for that build as well. So as always, be safe, have fun, stay passionate, and make something.